Okay folks, we're back here with the amplifier. Now I've moved the amplifier over to my retro bench because it is a retro piece of equipment. And in setting up for this, I noticed a couple of things. I think that modern oscilloscope over there kind of led us astray a little bit. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, so we've got a very small signal going into it right now. And we're going to turn up the volume here. This is at 400 hertz, which is the frequency over on the other bench when we first looked at it, that it went into oscillation at when we turned up the volume and the treble control too much. But this is what we get now. It starts to clip and then it's not oscillating. I don't know why that other oscilloscope interpreted this as an oscillation. But this is just overdriving it, and we're getting all sorts of crossover distortion because we're driving it far too hard. So in essence, everything it just appears to be working right. I don't know. Maybe it fixed itself along the way, but I don't know. Now there's a couple of things I want to try to see if we can get rid of some of this. Like you can see the crossover distortion there, right? And that's on the output stage. But then this crossover distortion that comes in here that's coming in the driver stage, which is just getting a whole lot worse there. I mean, it's not a great design. I mean, that's just it. It was designed down to a price rather than being designed up to a certain quality. But let's measure the voltages, make sure everything's okay. That's one thing I wanted to do today. Amongst other things, but it looks like it's going to be cut short because, well, there's really nothing looking like there's wrong with it. Okay, so here's the plus 22 volts. We're getting 22.9, so that's fine. And the minus 22 volts, we're getting minus 22.3. That's also fine. And let's look at the plus 15. If this is this the plus 15 here? This is the minus 15 there, and this is the plus 15. So that's all okay. The voltages are all okay. And I want to probe that operational amplifier. So if we look at, here's the input going into the op amp. So let's turn up the oscillator a little bit here. We'll see. Okay, there's no distortion on going in at all. And let's have a look at what's coming out of the op amp. That goes to this lead here on the pot, and that's pretty distortion free too. It's looking very nice actually. Yeah, it's that's nice. So let me imagine when we're pushing this hard, we're getting some signal feedback through the power supply. Okay, so now the op amp's beginning to clip, which is like the onset of that additional distortion here. So yeah, that distortion is coming from the way the driver stage is reacting to the op amp clipping. And this other crossover distortion here is in the output transistors. All right, one more thing I want to look at. But at this point in time, I think this amplifier is operating just the way it should. One thing I did want to do, we had noticed also that as the frequency goes down, we get a drop off in frequency response. This old scope has got a little linearity problem there. Let's see if we can do it, make it a bit better here. Yeah, that's going to be better there. You can see that it drops down to almost nothing and then comes back up. So what I wanted to do, there's an input capacitor, this one right here. I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not. I hope you can. I can't see what these cameras are seeing over here, but this input capacitor here is just 100 nanofarads, and you know, it's driving into a 10K and a 220K down to ground, and then a couple of 1N4148 diodes going to plus and minus 15 volts. So I don't know if changing this will help a little bit. And then there's also a 3.3 nanofarad capacitor, and I believe that is, where's that? Is that up here? It's very hard to, this PC board is not laid out anything like the schematic. I mean, it is correct to the schematic, but the layout is just crazy. So, you know, here's the differential amplifier here, and here's the driver amplifiers. Yet all this stuff here comes before it goes actually into the differential amplifier. So everything's all over the place. It makes it very hard to follow, and there's no component layout that I can get here. So it's tough trying to find components. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to solder 1 UF capacitor across this one here to see if we get any better frequency response. So let me shut it down there, and let me do that. Be right back. Okay, so I've got that capacitor soldered in across there, and very gingerly we'll flip this back over. Plug in our source. Working around these camera stands is a pain in the butt, I tell you, these tripods. Okay, let's turn it on. And let's sweep the frequency down a bit. No, that didn't help. That didn't help there at all. So I'm a little reluctant to change that 3.3 nanofarad capacitor there, because it's all a part of the treble equalization. So it's going to mess that up if I put that in there. So I'm going to leave it well enough alone at this point in time. At some point we're going to have to get a guitar on it and see what it sounds like. I've got to get speakers for it. I can temporarily use some speakers that I have around here. Maybe invite my son over to plug his guitar in. We can have a listen to it. All right, folks, I think that's all I can do with this right now. I mean, nothing seems to be wrong with it. Okay, so I'm gonna order some speakers for this. I'm gonna test it out first. I've got these old TX speakers here. Which would be best? No, I could hook it up to one of these, or two of them actually, because these are rated at 8 ohms. And that's about it. So that's good news. That's good news. I'm going to set up the camera to take a look at the cabinet. I'll try some cleaners on it, and we'll see how they work. And let me do that. Some of this filth here is kind of in there pretty deeply. I don't know how much we'll be able to get off just by rubbing. I may have to. That's spray 9 cleaner. It's usually pretty good. Maybe we'll have to get a brush here. Try and get down into the texture of this fake vinyl, or fake leather here. Leatherette. Oh, hello, copyright. Doing it. It's going to take a long time at this rate. And I don't know if that, I don't know if the graffiti is going to survive this process. I mean, this really needs a very, very, very deep cleaning. And I don't know. Here's just a little spot of graffiti there. We can see if that holds up. Yeah, that's holding up. Well, if it holds up, it holds up. This is just a test anyway. We can do a more thorough job. But I want to take all the corner pieces off it and everything else. They need to be cleaned up themselves. And I'm not going to re-chrome them. I'm just hoping maybe I can polish out some of that rust. It doesn't look too bad. Okay, that seems to be doing the business. It's getting down in there and getting it out. Some of it's really like that. There's really, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's really tough stuff in there. But this seems to be surviving. Some of the other graffiti, like we have on the side over here, we have Pink Floyd and Black Sabbath. It's done in a different paint, but by the same token, the sides don't seem to be nearly as badly crudded up. Okay, well, that's about all I can do today. I've got a bunch of other things that need doing, and got to get these corners off. Maybe I'll do that right now. Hold on one second. Yeah, it's quite interesting about analog scope shows compared to what the digital scope shows. I was quite impressed with that. That signal was doing something weird with the digital scope. Yeah, with the analog scope, it just proved to be normal distortion for overdriving the thing. I guess digital scopes are not the be all and end all, and it's good to have an analog scope around for when you need one. You know, it's Heathkit's scope. I don't even saw the videos on me trying to fix that up, but that only cost me 30 bucks. It's good up to 5 megahertz, so certainly good for stuff like this. Very limited bandwidth on this thing. Any audio really would be fine with a 5 megahertz oscilloscope, even AM radio. And some of the longer wave amateur radio bands. I don't know what you're seeing here. I can't see what the camera's seeing. The camera's up much higher than I can stand. I hope you're getting to see some of what's going on here. Anyway, I think I'll call it at that, guys. It's not much really more to show you. I'm just going to take these off here and then just give this case a good scrubbing. It's probably not the most interesting thing to see. And then I'll show you the results of it. And I might do some painting on the speaker board. It's got a few scratches on it, but that'll be behind the grill. I don't have a grill for it, so I'll have to order in some grill cloth as well. It's fairly inexpensive stuff, and we'll make up a grill on a frame to fit in over that. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. We'll continue on with this project, and hopefully we get a good little amplifier going. I did talk to my son briefly about it. He says he's not really interested in this particular amplifier, so I'll fix it up. I've got a keyboard that I play once in a while, and I don't have an amplifier for it. So I'll fix it up and put it beside that. That'll be my keyboard amplifier. All right, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.